Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. So welcome to today's video. We are going to be talking about autism and sensory processing disorder today. So if you didn't know, autism and sensory processing disorder is they are separate conditions, but sensory processing a disorder um is a separate condition that many children and adults will have as part of their autism. So I was thinking about this and I was like, with all my 20 years of experience working with children with autism and learning disabilities, um, you have learning disabilities, and even people with learning disabilities can sometimes have a sensory processing a disorder, and that so it's a whole condition in itself. But today we are going to be talking about how it affects children with autism. And I made some notes. Here's my notes. And so what we're going to be talking about today is kind of the three um say senses, and I may talk about some more senses either in this video or the next. We're also going to be talking about the signs as well, so I'm going to be reading, I've only made one page of notes, and then I'm going to be telling you some truths about sensory disorder and sensory processing a disorder, and autism from a parent point of view as well. So I'm hoping that these videos I will be able to tell you about, say, some truths, the facts in that, to help you, to inform you and that. And I would definitely recommend that you go away and you research it yourself as well. So there's another tip I want to give parents as well, and that is to get yourself a notepad. Okay, what was it? And when you are searching, what was it, autism, or autism and sensory processing a disorder, there's a lot of information out there, and it can be information overload for us as well. So make sure that you take kind of things in, but you also write notes, and you go, okay, so what was it? You can go to the National Health. It will have some information on autism and sensory processing disorder. You can go to the National Autistic Society, and again, they have a lot of information on there. You can also go to other resources as well. So what is a sensory processing a disorder? I'm going to be talking mainly about the senses today and also the signs. Okay, we could go into the whole kind of well, what is it kind of thing, but I know as a parent, you don't really want to know that. All you want to know is, how does this affect my child, and how can I help him or her say with it. And so that's why I'm not going to go into great detail on this today. So the senses are taste, smell, and touch, and there's also say the auditory, so hearing, what was it? And we'll go into that now actually. So the signs of maybe a child or a adult who may have they've got autism, and you may go out one day and you may kind of oh, they are easily overwhelmed by people and noise, and they may go like this, And actually, what I want you to do is that when you are like in a noisy place, just go like this, was it, and push. And then I want you to like let go, and you will see like how noisy it can be. Now, someone once said to me that, and he was autistic, that going into a crowded place was so like awful for him. He had to run back out. So a lot of children who I have like worked with have actually done that. We may take them out to like a shopping centre or somewhere like that, and there's so much noise. There's people talking. Um, like the other thing is sudden noise. So like if you are like maybe out and you what's it and you out on a really nice walk, okay, and then suddenly there might be a screaming baby, or there might be something really noisy going on, like someone's cutting a tree, and the child will just have a meltdown, and they just want to run off, or they just hit the floor when they cover their ears and that, and it's just like it's too much for them, so they get upset like easily um, by sudden noise. And also when they are out in like a crowded place and that, and it could be anywhere, they might go off, to seek a quiet place, and that. And sometimes if they can't, you will, find children who they just want to hide, and like I said, the hands go over like the ears because it's just too much. It's just so much noise and that for them. Now, like the other interesting thing here is a child with like autism who have a sensory processing like a disorder will also find bright light. So like the light here we have at home, Matthew will always go like that because it's too bright, and so they will get like say bothered by bright light, and that can be really sensitive to their like eyes and that. So I think about what's it, your home, and think about their bedroom. Like in Matthew's bedroom, even though he's got a ceiling light, we don't necessarily use it because it's too bright, and his eyes are like, oh, I don't really like this. Now, with Matthew, he will spend a lot of time down here, but just recently he has gone upstairs, and he has wanted to be like in like either like our room because we've got dimmer lights and that, or like his room because we don't put his big light on. He has like a little lamp which can change colours, and we just leave it on like a very neutral kind of low uh, light, and that actually really helps him. And that. So the other thing, there's a few more things I'm going to be talking about, is clothes. Clothes, okay. Comment below how many of you have trouble with your child wearing kind of different clothes. Maybe they don't like the clothes because it makes them itch. Maybe it's the label. Maybe no, it's the washing powder you use, or no, what's it, the softener, and they don't like the smell of it. That can be clothes can really like irritate our kids. So we found that no, there's certain clothes that Matthew will wear, and they are like, say, he loves to wear, say, joggers, which is you know 100% cotton and that, and it doesn't like irritate him. He doesn't wear jeans that. Actually, I don't think we got like any jeans in that. Through what was it? I must admit that he seems to be much more better now, and then he was say a year ago. A year ago, his socks always used to come off. He just would pull his socks and shoes off. No, the minute that we got in, and he just loved being, barefoot. So for him, that was kind of like important, and we kind of let him, like I say, do it, because if you kind of like enforce it, especially when you are like at home and you don't really need to wear socks, it was absolutely fine. But like when you was going out and that, he would try to take his shoes off and socks, and it was so annoying. But I'm happy to say that he's over that now. So we haven't really touched on tastes yet. I'm going to be talking about taste in a moment, but let's talk about touch. Now, when I was kind of doing some research, it said about children and adults who've got sensory processing disorder may not like touch or hugs. Well, in Matthew's case, he loves being he really likes being hugged. Absolutely loves it. He also likes being like a massage. Um, he likes his cheek, his face being touched, and but it's got to be. It can't be just like a little soft. It has to be pressure. So that's something to consider. Like if your child um they may not like a soft kind of hug where you just go, "Ah, come here," but they might like a really tight hug, and that. Or some children who I know absolutely hate like any form of touch. It's like, no, do not touch me. I do not want to hug, and that, and I, what was it? And if they are non-verbal, they will show that like in a behavioral way. They will push you away and stuff like that. So these are signs that they may not, what was it, like touch. Or you may have the other way to look at it is that you have children and like adults who needs that touch, that pressure, like on, like I say, Matthew's face, or a massage, which is quite say deep. They need that. It's a sensory, they are seeking that out, and that smell. Let's talk about smell. They say that a child with autism, their smell um, is like 10 times, 20 times much more, and then like ours. And this, I'm going to talk about smell and touch at the smell and taste, sorry, at the same time. And with a taste as well, it's about the textures and stuff. With with smell, it's kind of with Matthew, for like example, he will smell the what was it, the food first, and if he doesn't like it, he will throw it away. But like if you give him something that he knows the smell of and that, he will eat it. So again, that depends on like the texture. Like we could give Matthew something, and the smell could be really nice for him, but then the taste of it he doesn't like. So it's very interesting on how smell and taste actually comes together, and that's why you have a lot of children who are picky eaters because of the taste, the texture, what was it, the smell element, and also then the function of kind of like eating as well, you know. Um, so I think that's going to be it for today. What I will say is go along to those kind of sites. They will be in the description, and have a look at them. We haven't covered some of like the like other like say elements of the sensory processing like a disorder, but I wanted to kind of have this video whereby I kind of tell you what is what is the sensory processing like a disorder, but also the signs of it as well. And the signs can be valid to child, from person to person. So no, it could well be that he or she may have multiple say senses and that. We haven't spoken about what was it, whether it would be high senses or like low and that. So like for Matthew, he's very vocal at the moment. Um, what he seeks is more kind of like, well, at the moment, it's actually play. It's actually playing on a one-to-one level, either like with myself or the teachers and that. And we do sensibly kind of play with him. So at the moment, he's learning about no, it's about sight. So we didn't really speak about sight, but no, and it's about his body kind of like awareness and stuff. Um, so he will be pacing up and down a lot. He will be tapping walls and stuff. He will was it another thing that he does, which I will try to get some video of him one day, is that we was last night, Monday night, we was it he went into his bedroom, and he was bouncing like he does and laughing, and he did have the big light on, and he was quite happy with that on. Actually, he didn't mind, and he has a PJ Masks cover like on his bed, and basically what he was doing was he was pulling the cover over his head, and and just having, what was it, a really good time bouncing and having that sensory thing from having the cover like on my head. It's like, it's dark, and then Mummy comes in and she lifts it up and go, hello Matthew, so that he knows that I'm there. And then I go under, and then he's like, oh, okay, Mummy's going to play with me. And so I come out and I start shaking it, and he really likes that sensation on his kind of head and that. And from there, we kind of went to kind of like me doing a very kind of like intensive like interaction game where I just copied what he does. So he was bouncing, so I was bouncing on my bum very hard. And I was absolutely knackered. And every time that he was going, I would go, and probably not as high pitch as that, but you get what I mean. It's, and he would go, and I would go, and then he would go, and I would do the same. And not only the sounds, but I would also copy his body language as well. So at the moment, he's getting to know his body, and and one of the things that he does is, I don't know, it might be like a sensory tick or something, we haven't even covered that today, but there's certain things that children will kind of do in repetition. So Matthew, he does this a lot, and this is no, what was it? This is his happy, kind of sim. He really likes doing this. This gets him motivated and excited and stuff, and then he will stop, and he like. So if I'm doing that with him, he's like, "Oh, Mummy's doing it as well," and then he goes, and he looks at you. So I look at him, and then it's that thing of he goes, and then I do, and it's showing him that I'm taking like a interest in him, and that we can play together and we can have a lot of kind of fun. Now he was pretty high. No, he was getting to a point of no, his sensory was up here, and it was nearly bedtime, and I wanted to get it down. So what I'd done was that we'd done all what he wanted and stuff, and I said, okay, it's time to get to sleep now. And so he was up there at 6:30, and so we'd done his play, and every time he lay down, I would like put my hand on his back and stroke him. Again, it was firm, and it's like sleep time now, calm. And eventually he would like lay back, and I would lay back on the beanbag. He was on his bed, and I would pretend to be like asleep, and then he would kind of come over to check me out and stuff. And I was like, sleep now, Matthew. And then he would go back, bounce a bit, but his bouncing, instead of being very, very high, was coming down. So when you do things like, and we will talk about intensive like interaction and play, and when the child is on a high, and they need to get like everything like out. So when he goes to school, and I don't know whether they do it in all special schools, but they do something whereby they may go outside if it's not raining to get all that energy out, because autistic kids have lots of energy, and they need that kind of like where we go boom and boom, And what I mean by that is that they need to kind of do what they need to do, and then when we come back to the classroom or it's like bedtime, then it's kind of like right, calm time. And Matthew is doing so well, like in his school. It is amazing. Like I've seen him on his multi me, which is a platform where teachers and that can record and put pictures on, and all his goals are on there, and like us parents we can see it. And it's so great because we don't see this Matthew like at home. Yeah, we only see the very like energetic, what was it, wants to watch Baby Shark or something. Um, it's only just recently that I've noticed that he's seeking out more play, which is really, really good. And when I talk about play, we will do a whole video on play, and I will be mainly talking about sensory play and how we can use our like home. We don't need any special like equipment, sensory equipment, even though that's good, but we can make things at home. We can use things at home. Your child, so I don't know like if any of you, if your child go to a special needs like a school, the SALT team, the speech and language team, may have done a sensory like assessment to see what your child will like a need from a sensory point of view. and but you can do that yourself as well. We will cover this at some like stage. I need to do more research. I haven't done because we never actually like say done the sensory assessments. All I done as a learner support worker when I was working in schools was just followed them. But it's an interesting area, that's for sure. But see, if we can like know what their strengths and weaknesses are like in this area, then what we can do is that we can help them. So Matthew really loves water, and sensory wise, it's just like he loves it. What was it? The noise of the water, it's just like the sea. Oh my god! I mean, next year when we go to Butlins, he's gonna absolutely love it. Sadly, we're not going in the summer. We booked for September, but like one summer when we do go and it's hot enough for him to go in, I'm sure that he will absolutely love the sea because of the noise. He likes to hear that kind of like sea noise and that the ocean, waves and that. But yeah, like I say, there's so much to this, sensory processing and autism, I mean, we haven't even talked about like if you have too much, sensory stuff, or things that they are doing, that it can be a overload and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just, I think, what is it? Many of the videos will be quite long, okay? But for those who do stick around, I hope you have enjoyed this, like a video, and I'm sure that what was it? You will come back for the next one. So remember to hit that subscribe button and like the video and comment below. I would love to have more like interaction with you guys and that. Like I say, no, my son is only 4 years old. He's got autism, and part of that is essentially processing like a disorder, and he's non-verbal, so language and communication delays are there as well. But by knowing what he likes, by finding out about him, and not just what's on the paper, but actually sometimes you have to kind of sit back and like watch and learn, and that can be hard like as a parent, was it, I'm sure. I know, like sometimes I just sit and watch Matthew, and I'd be thinking, okay, so why is he having this meltdown? And of course I want to make this better, but what is it? And one day there was a lot of noise in this house. The TV was going out in the conservatory. The radio was on, and it was just like, whoa, even I was kind of like, this is too much. So I basically took Matthew upstairs. I turned the radio off because no one was in the kitchen, and I turned the TV down. Said to Dan, what was it? Shut the door because like it's affecting Matthew. I opened the gate, and hey, he went upstairs. He went to his bedroom, and he was happy. And he kind of pushed me kind of away. So I went and I went off. He shut the gate and he was laying down. I shut his door, and about half an hour later, I could hear him. He was bouncing and he was, back to his normal self. So sometimes this sensory like overload we have to watch out for. But I will cover that like in the next video. So thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.